This is a video for anybody that's been struggling through this climate for the last 5, 10, 20 years. Maybe 30, 40, 50, who the hell knows? Uh, in this, I think it's more like the last 20 years, but it's been really hard on the regular, everyday person. It's funny hearing conservatives basically downgrade jobs, like act like these jobs are not real jobs. And I understand the whole idea of like fast food and stuff like that. Um, that's not something that you want to do for the rest of your life. That's just something for right now. But these people think that, there's infinite time in a week, I guess. Uh, for instance, like if you was to work fast food, you probably have to work mm, 60 hours a week, I would say. Probably here in Michigan, you probably have to work 60 hours a week. Usually these places don't give you health insurance, so then you have to go to the state for health insurance. Uh, and it's kind of funny with like these conservatives who cry about people being on welfare, and it's like you realize that these fast food places don't pay people right. They don't treat people right. Um, like, do you think that these people would do these jobs because they like to do the job? Like, nobody likes doing those jobs. Uh, Regular jobs, all these jobs I've done, these working class jobs I've done this the last 27 years of my working career. Like the only reason why people would want to even go to the job is because of the people. They don't care about the actual work. Nobody likes doing the work. That's why everyone's like that classic, um, you know, can't wait till the weekend. Like, yeah, that's how people are. Like they don't like to be at work. That like I said, they do. If you're working with people that are really cool, it makes it way more tolerable. But if it's like you're working with people that you really but like it's been hard. It's been really hard out here. And the funny thing is, like, I've studied economics, and I studied economics in high school, and I studied it on my own um, since then. It's something like I have a little bit of an interest in, but it's not like something that I really go like I want to be my number one thing that I'm interested in, or my specialty. But I have a general knowledge of things. I don't know everything. The greatest economic person doesn't know everything. Uh, and it's been hard. It's been hard. It's like just trying to get by is been very difficult, especially now with all the prices going. I can't believe that bankruptcies aren't like happening at record amounts right now. Where we were headed, if America didn't pick Trump and we didn't have, we're about to have huge reforms, and the whole like threat of nuclear war, I just don't think is going to happen. Like this is a constant thing that needs to stop. Um, People shouldn't have to worry about nuclear annihilation. People shouldn't have to worry about nuclear winter. So we should be working with other countries to try to get rid of nuclear weapons. NATO should. God, it's the same people. Why is it the same car alarm? Like, oh, people are so dumb. um, yeah. So you're even though like everything seems normal, everyone probably around you seems like they're all, oh, everyone's all right, and it's probably like you are the only one that seems like there's something off. There is something off. People like to a lot of people are living in lies. People don't like the truth. People would rather live in a lie than have the truth because the truth is bitter, man. Um, I used to live in. So I'm one of these type of people that have went in and out of being an NPC, and I think that it is possible. I think that it is possible to come out of the NPC. Like I don't think that these people, like I've heard of people, oh, these people don't have souls. I think that like probably everybody has a soul in their real person, but I think that the programming is so good on these people that it just pretty much made them like they don't have any independent thoughts, or they're scared to have any type of independent thoughts because they don't want to be cast aside. Like there was some type of experiment that was done in the 70s, and what intrigues me is human behavior. That's what intrigues me. Like I'm some kind of alien or something. Even though sometimes I feel like it. Anyway, so like there was I probably talked about this before, but there was like a group of people, and they're all actors but one person, and they like they were showing this graph of what line was the longest, and I guess the longest line was somewhere like C or something, and everybody said B. So usually people would give the wrong answer, even though they knew that it was wrong, because they didn't want to like they didn't want to be ostracized by the. And I felt this when I was growing up in school and stuff. Like I always like wanted to make sure I wasn't the last person to send in my, like when I was done with my test, you walk it up to the teacher, and I was never like the first, but then I would like start like getting antsy and like fidgety and like I don't want to be the last one. I don't want to be like, looking like I'm stupid out here, and then I would start like guessing or whatever like that. um, because I didn't want to be ostracized being like the dumb person in school. Uh, like you don't want to be like laughed at and jeered when you're young like that. So it's something that you have to like you have to get used to. Like the red pill guys, they're correct when they say like approach as many women as you can so you can get rejected. And then it just like, so when you talk to women that you don't know, it's just kind of like it doesn't matter. You're like immune to it because you've been like rejected so much. It's just like whatever. There, and that's how you have to like basically treat women, is like they're not really that big of a deal. You know, when they get treated like, oh, I'm throwing out the red carpet for you, me lady, and I'll do this. I don't know, I'm gonna save you. Like, they don't respect that, and especially the ones nowadays. Holy cow, the ones nowadays are vicious. Like, there's not an ounce of innocence in them at all. Like, there's no like they're like dudes. It's crazy. Like these females out here that are in their masculinity, and people wonder why. Oh, why is there a birth rate problem? Because women don't want to be moms or wives. That's why. Society has programmed them that being a mom is bad, being a wife is bad, and being a boss babe is the best thing. That's what the society has programmed them. And like this whole notion of like women shouldn't vote, repeal the 19th, is when I hear this, I just like laugh and like, dude, what is that going to do? You're still gonna have dumb dudes that vote stupidly. Like, do you think that only men voted one way? And I understand the dynamics of it. Women are going a certain way and men are going a different way. And it's because women are there's more women in school, college now, so they're like having more indoctrination. It's lasting longer. I think like when you go to college, that's like the cherry on top, right there. You feel like you have some authority because you have a degree or whatever. Like I don't give a fuck about your degree, man. You're not smarter than me. There's a lot of different fucking intelligence and memorizing is one of them, but it's not. There's like many dudes, so to think that to act like I'm smarter than everyone is just so, like, for myself is just so stupid, because there's everyone's like has their specialty, or um like, I don't fucking know everything about everything, and then that's how these people act. I get wrong information. I get wrong information. I give it out, and then I'm like, oh crap, that was wrong. I'm changing my stance. I'm changing my opinion. I adapt my opinion because the information I got was incorrect, or it changed. So that changed. So my opinion changed. It's kind of like you don't just have to stick with one thing your whole life. Like, you can adapt, because different circumstances, different people come into your life, whatever. So yeah, it's been very exhausting, to say the least, being at somebody at my level. And the funny thing is like how the hell we are, like, our status is looked at like scrubs, and we're the ones that do all the hard jobs that keep this thing going. Like, it's so crazy how out of touch the average person is to not people are just out of touch with everything, pretty much. They don't understand the I think like the average person is probably like 5 years, maybe even 10 years behind me, honestly. um some of the stuff I talk about, they like, oh, what? This, my intelligence is awareness and knowledge, mostly based, is like, I'm not a memorizer. You're not gonna get me to go to a debate and then like spit all these facts, memorize. I'll remember a couple of big statistics, but I'm not gonna sit here and like just like spew all this like things like a Destiny or Ben Shapiro would, or anything like that. But um like, I just bring more common sense to it, more like reality, because like I actually live in reality. Most people don't live in reality. So it's kind of like uh yeah, when it seems like, and I've worked for a lot of different companies, man. It seems like mid management is just getting like overrun full of people. And it really shouldn't be that. There really shouldn't be much mid management. About 10 years ago, there was this, people were getting banned off of Twitter because they were saying learn to code or whatever. I think they were saying that to news people, because like the news people were saying that to like journalists or whatever. Journalists were saying that to coal workers, people going into the ground, like, you need to learn to code, and like basically laughing at them. And it's like, imagine if like you took that advice and you went into it, you went and you learned to code like 10 years ago. Well, you would have more knowledge, obviously, like, but like things are innovating at such a rapid pace when it comes to AI, uh, that um, whatever you learn, it's like it becomes extinct. So like you always have to continue to learn constantly, because the innovation of whatever. Like, look at NASA. They've actually like devolved. Like, they can't even get back to the moon. What? You guys knew how to get to the moon. You said you've been to the moon. You showed a video being on the moon, but you guys can't get back to the moon. Why? How the hell did somebody like destroy all like the blueprints and how to do this propulsion of this system, and that, like, how did that happen? And now you see Elon getting ready for Mars. Uh, you see all these rockets for Starship he's testing. It's pretty crazy. The technology that he's implementing and the people that are working for him, he's not making it up himself. I mean, I'm sure that he tries to help on different problems, but like he's got so much going on. Obviously, he's got really smart people that do most of the engineering, but like basically he has this Starship. This is something I've seen, but I don't know, maybe it's fake. It was off the internet. Anyway, it showed like a Starship with a booster go like getting it into space, and then the booster comes back down automatically, and then they launch another booster, and that other booster is supposed to help get the Starship to Mars. It gives it the extra fuel, and then it comes back down and catches it. Like that booster comes back down to Earth, and it's not like how NASA did, where they would just like let things just fall in the ocean. No, they're reusing, and that's what I'm saying. The technology is it's just innovating so rapidly. So even if you're like you learn this, you have to continuously learn and try to keep up with AI at some point. You can't keep up unless we have AI too in our brain. And this is why I've never been interested in learning the combustion engine. Now I'm from like my father and my brothers all love working on cars. They're car people. I hate it. I've never liked working on cars. I can do basics like change a tire, change the oil. Uh, you know, I could probably if I had like a different car I can just work on, not have to worry about um oh like this gets me around or whatever. If like it was just some extra car I can just tinker on. I'm pretty sure I can try to figure out some things with the internet. Try to like replace some things or whatever. But I generally haven't really cared because it's just like I've seen technology advancing so much in my lifetime. I just like it would be like me trying to like well I always thought like it would be like the person who is a candlestick maker. They're talking about this on Temple, and then like the people who make candlesticks went out of business when people started going towards power. Well, how do you think those people felt? They couldn't keep up. Like the electricity was just more efficient. It was just better. You could have it in more rooms. Uh, it you didn't have to worry about buying candles or making candles or whatever. So like if those people like were smart and they evolved into um like making the technology, if they had their hand in it or they invested in it, they would have been well off. But my thing is like why do I need to learn this useless information when it's not like dude, I'm going to be in a society in 20 years from now. In 20 years from now, where nobody drives cars, everything will be driven by a robot. There's not going to be like if you're in a city, you're not going to have a combustible engine. It's all going to be electric. It's all going to be self-driven. People probably aren't even going to be allowed to drive in cities, which I don't know why anybody would want to because it sucks. I hate driving. Driving is fine if you're going to go like cross country with like friends or something, or like you're just taking a drive through the country. That's cool. But like driving through the city, commuting to work, like I hate it. I hate it. It's such an inconvenience. People don't know what they're doing, and it's like so expensive to own a vehicle. It really is so expensive. I don't like doing it. I hate it. I hate having to own a vehicle. Just like having to worry about the maintenance, the wear and tear, having to pay for like car insurance. How like my car insurance like just keeps going up, and you don't do nothing wrong. It's because the rates keep going up because people are horrible drivers, and they put it on me like I'm a bad driver. And like I'm over here driving how I'm supposed to, but I'm being penalized because of everybody else because they suck. Um so yeah, it's just kind of like what's the point of learning that thing when you know it's just going to be irrelevant? Like coding is all going to be done by AI very soon. They were saying I've seen something where like third parties con- contractors 70% of like they use AI for 70% of their work. So when's it going to be 100% for coding? When's it going to be 100%? You know what? That's what I'm saying. So trying to decipher what the hell, what direction we're going in when it comes to America and like investments and like figuring out like the government's not going to be able to take care of me when I'm old. So I'm going to have to, I need to be able to take care of myself. And it's extremely hard for young people. Like, this is insane. It's so hard for them to even, like, it's hard for them to even be motivated. Like, the men, it's hard for them to even be motivated to even, like, want to accomplish excellence. It's because there isn't really many women. Like, when I'm hearing these red pill guys talk, like Richard Cooper, they just like basically say the same. Like he's on Twitter saying the same phrase he keeps saying over and over again. It's some phrase he thought up, and it's like he continues to use it, and it's just like, dude, you're so out of touch, man. You're so out of touch with the way things are right now. Like, there's no women. Like, there's no available women for the youth. It's bad for me out here. I'm on these dating sites and I'm just like I don't even want to meet anybody. I don't want to talk to anyone. Even if like I have like start having a conversation with somebody, they just are so they're just so dumb, and I don't feel like dumbing myself down. If I dumb myself down, I have to use my comedy, and a lot of females just don't like my sense of humor. So, like, if you don't know me anyway, um, because it can be crude, it can be very crude. Um, so what was I saying? It's there's not a lot of available women for young men nowadays. So like, why are they? How are they going to be motivated to strive for excellence? Like this is a thing I remember now. Richard Cooper's talking about like striving for excellence, but it's like we don't strive for excellence for other men, and there's only so much you can like really be motivated to, unless like you're a workaholic, and that's what it comes down to is you have some imbalances in your life. I try to stay balanced as much as I can, and I think that's like a good place to be is try to be like a balanced person. Um this is where I relate to Elon is having knowledge. Like you don't have to have knowledge in everything, but having some type of general knowledge in something so like you can understand the subject. You don't have to be like a professor in every single subject, but it's just kind of like I know a little bit about it, so I can understand a little bit about what we're talking about, and I might be able to give some my own opinion or my own input or whatever. So 21% of the Gen Z, they're in the LGBT community. And then I was watching my kid's graduation, And yes, this was in Missouri, but when I was watching the kids walk the stage and noticeably seeing big girls walk the stage, when I was in high school, there was maybe one obese girl, maybe two, but most of them were like skinny, man. Like there was no fat girls at all. And when I seen his class, and I seen like 10 obese girls coming out on stage, I was like, dude, that's not good. Like, how are these young men supposed to be um, motivated for excellence for that? Like, whenever I see an overweight person like talking like a bit, I don't really care about what they have to say. That's why like Hollywood and everyone like that, they never really used obese people until recently because of all their woke crap. But because nobody cares about that. Nobody like respects that. Um you lack discipline for your own body, like it's like you're not a serious person. You don't even take yourself serious. You don't even care about your own health. So it's kind of like I really don't care about your opinion. I don't care what you have to say. Um so it's been extremely hard for young men out here cuz it's just like okay, so like and also Gen Z, like they're feminists, like they are leftists, like most of them are leftists. So like where did and Gen Z are like the men are more conservative. So like how are they supposed to be motivated? Um, if they're more conservative, that means that they want to like have wives and kids. They want to have a traditional life. Well, these feminists, they're not. They don't want to be moms. They want to be like boss babes, and they want to be able to like some of them want to have kids just for the status of saying I have a kid. It's just an object to them. They don't really care about the kid. Because if a woman cared about her, if she wanted to be a mom, she wouldn't be thinking about, oh, I can't wait to get to back to work. Like, what are you talking about? This is your work. Being a mom, raising your child. Don't you want to spend time with your kid? And this is where I'm excited for AI to replace office jobs. Because what's going to happen is we're going to have less jobs. And the jobs that are remaining are going to be hard jobs, physical labor jobs, until like robots are created for that. And that means less politics in office, less drama in office, because there's not going to be office. We don't need office people. Um, all these office people making all this money and they don't do nothing. Like that's going. I can't wait for that to end. It pisses me off so much. Like seeing me work my ass off out of all these different companies I worked for, and then some like just these office people who are completely worthless. They don't know how to do anything else than like their little work they do, if they do anything. And I'm not saying like all office people are worthless. There's some that have to work extremely hard, and they do work hard. Um, but the general consensus I've heard from office people is they're just trying to like act like they're working um, for their boss. So like they don't like. I've heard of people getting their work done in, like the first 4 hours of work, and then like what are they supposed to do the rest of the time? They can't go home, but like the work is done. So like if your salary or whatever, like why would you want to work harder? Why would you care about anything else when you're not going to make more money? Uh, there's lack of incentives, and that's the biggest problem with our country. It's a lack of incentives to want to work hard. Like I went to work and I stayed my hours every single day. I made sure of it. Like I had to raise my family. Now it's kind of like I don't fucking care, man. Whatever, whatever. I don't care. That's what having kids does is you don't want your kids to starve. If you like are a good person, you want good for your kids. And let me say something too. Like doing right for your kids sometimes is taking away. So for instance, like if you just raise your kids in a bubble and like everything is handed to them and they're just completely entitled, they just become completely worthless. Um, and they don't live for themselves at all. You have to do everything for them. Like you're doing a disservice to them and yourself. So sometimes you have to make it harder on your kids. Like why I have the job I have is because I want to toughen up my kid. He even told me, he's like, man, I like hit my toe the other day, and um I would have been a little girl about it before I started working at that job, but I've toughened up a lot. I'm like, yep, you're gonna have to be tough. You have to be. It's really hard to survive out here, and it was hard to survive when I was growing up. Honestly, it was hard to like start. Like, how the hell do I do this? How do I? Uh, usually people get roommates or whatever, but um, this generation doesn't interact like my generation did. Um, they're completely isolated. Not all of them, but like there's a lot of them that are isolated, and it's becoming more prominent. Uh, like my best friend when I was like 20, we worked together, and he would go out of his way to pick me up. He never asked for gas. Like this was my best friend, man. I talked to him all the time. I worked with him. Like we hung out all the time. I spent the night at his house all the time. His mom absolutely adored me. Um, and like nowadays, kids don't care about other kids. They don't. They don't even. They don't. They ain't gonna do that. Like it's hard to find that as a friend. Like nowadays, so it's hard to find like good people who are going to go to bat for you and be there for you, even if they're like your own family, even your own flesh and blood. Anyway, so it's been really hard on a lot of different levels. If you feel like you start like doubting yourself, like you see everyone around you, like they're like people people do what they have to do to try to survive. So if they have to lie to themselves, they lie to themselves. Um, to try to remain positive and optimistic. It's hard, man. It's been really hard to be optimistic in this environment, and that's why Trump got elected. People were just tired of it. People seeing where things were going. You know where things were going? Off a cliff, and the people were going to go Bad Max. That's where things were headed, man. It was unsustainable. It was kind of like, let's keep putting band-aids on this thing, and we'll just keep making the cliff go higher and higher. So like when we do hit the ground, it's gonna like probably destroy us. It's not like, oh yeah, we're just going through a recession for a little bit. No, it's we are finished. Like that's where we're headed. Like collapse, complete economic collapse, and we still ain't head there because you know we owe a lot of debt that we'll never be able to pay off. It'll take forever to pay this off unless we think of something else, like maybe Bitcoin, like start going into like backing our currency with Bitcoin. If we backed our currency with Bitcoin, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. And then other countries would do the same. And that's why I'm like, dude, like Bitcoin it has potential to be worth millions of dollars for sure. Um, like what people have to understand about Bitcoin is like it's not meant to daily transact. It's meant to like move like big things. It's like, oh, it doesn't have any value. Well, you know, let's say you have $500,000 in the bank, which would be stupid. But let's say you do and you want to buy a house. Well, you can't just go to the bank and be like, I need my $500,000 right now, because they likely don't even have that much in the whole bank anyway. They don't have that in the vault. They have to order it, because they lied to us by making us think that like our money's actually in the bank. When what they do is they invest our money. They take our money and they just invest into things, and then they just get interest. Like they make money off the interest or whatever off their investment. So that's how your checking account is free and all that stuff is free, is because they're using your money. And yes, they have to give you your money. So like if I want to close out my account and I have $1 million in there, they have to give it to me because it's my money. But let's just say I'm in a small town bank, big millionaire comes in, they're like, hey, listen, put my money in your bank. And then I'm like, small town bank, like, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start using their money to invest. And then all of a sudden they're like, I need my money back. And then you don't have the money. You got to start liquidating assets. And if like the assets that you invested in were like long-term assets, you're gonna lose. You're gonna like have to sell your assets for half of what they're worth, and to try to even like give the guy his money back. You know what I mean? So they usually invest in like, I guess, like bonds or whatever, like long-term bonds. So it's been really rough out here, and I know that Trump's plan isn't going to be perfect, and I know there's going to be problems, there's going to be flaws, there's going to be a bumpy road. It was going to be a bumpy road either way. We needed a change, and hopefully like we get another red wave and it becomes even more prominent in 2 years, so we can like really push forward the Trump's agenda, instead of like, oh, like this is what America does. Like they just go halfway, like, oh yeah, let's just try this out. Oh, it doesn't work right away. Okay, we'll like, dude, I think Trump's initial plan would have worked out great, but what happened? What happened in 2020 that I can't talk about? What happened? So like if that never did happen, like he would be on his last months of being president right now. Our economy would be it would be like it would be amazing right now. You can counteract inflation, like you can take debt, and then as long as you're making more money than the actual debt, like you can do that. And that's what he was trying to do. That's what he's done. That's what a lot of business people do. That's why when rich people see inflation, they're like, hell yeah, then my debt's worth less. It's worth less. And so is all of our money that's been saved. That's what. So like, I don't know if this is even like, is this a simulation? I don't know. Anyway, I just want to say, like, it's been extremely hard, and there's a lot of like prominent YouTubers that are getting it wrong. And what the stuff I talk about, I don't hear anybody else really talking about. It's used like the red pill community, they're all about, they're basically male feminists. And like I like a lot of what they say, and these people are highly intelligent. But some things are just kind of like, dude, you just want male power again. That's what you want. And we are, they complain about the court system. I get it. But why? Why was it like that? Why is it like that? Why do we have these rules and laws? Because men were horrible back in the day. They were deadbeat dads. They left their women. They beat their women. They treated their women like shit. They would rather party, go out with their boys instead of spending time with their family. And they would replace their family with another family. And this was a constant thing. So like, women were loyal, man. Women would stick with their man even if they like were getting hit by the man because they wanted to keep their families intact. They actually cared about their families. You know, not like the women now who's, oh, I put my kids first, when like you don't. You put yourself first. You just say that. You put your kid first and you would stay with your man or whatever. But yeah, like we're responsible. Like horrible men are responsible for this society the way it is right now. And I was involved in making it worse. So like I participated in the hookup culture. I actually did get divorced, and I tried to get remarried like an idiot. So I was actually going down this path. I was going down this same stupid, dumb path that you don't think long term, you just think right now. Complete emotion. But the youth see this that there needs to be mass changes, and that's why they voted for Trump, and that's why you see whether they want to say whatever they want to say, the people on the left, like this was a crushing defeat. They were all out here saying that Kamala was gonna win. They were so confident. She lost. She lost. Like these people can lie to themselves all they want, but when you lose three, like when it was a red wave. It's not like a big red wave like we need. Like we need complete control over all of it, like for a little bit of time, so we can try to implement things. But you know, there's a lot of dumb people still here. There's a lot of brainwashing that's happened. So, yeah, that's I guess I just haven't really felt like making any type of videos, but whatever.